A human is not meant to hear a horse cry. It is wrong. It is like hearing a mountain weep or the sky itself die. But Garrett Cole had heard that sound 3 times in his life. The first time was when he buried his wife. The second was when he sold Kate. And the third was now. This night, in this fire, on this ash that fell from the sky like funeral snow. The smell of burning reached him 3 kilometers before Garrett saw the first smoke. Not the lazy scent of a campfire that makes you want to sit by the water and watch the stars. Something else, heavy, acrid, with a metallic edge, and fear. That's how it smells when it's not wood or grass burning, when the earth itself is on fire, the very flesh of the world. Garrett Cole stood on the roof of his old 1986 Ford truck, his boots sinking into a layer of ash that had settled over everything overnight. The hood, the mirrors, even the steering wheel inside. Everything was gray. The wind blew from the southeast, each gust carrying new clouds. The sky above the ridge was no longer orange. It had turned red, a shade that doesn't exist in nature, only in paintings that try to depict hell. The fire was moving faster than it should, faster than predicted, faster than anyone could keep up with. The authorities called it a frontal shift, a polished phrase that simply meant the flames devour everything in their path, and no living soul should remain within a 10-kilometer radius. Garrett knew that. The radio in the cab had been howling for an hour in the dispatcher's voice. Evacuation is mandatory, immediate. I repeat, immediate. But he didn't move. He was looking at the house, the same house he had built over 4 years with his wife. Every board, every nail, every window frame. He remembered them by touch. Right here, on the porch, they used to drink coffee in the mornings, and Claire would always laugh because he never learned how to brew it properly. Right here, beneath the second step, she had hidden a key, an old habit he never managed to break her of. And there, in the upstairs bedroom, she died. The windows had been open, and the wind carried the scent of lilac. Garrett had sat on the floor then, holding her hand, promising he would never leave this house. Not because he loved the walls, but because he was afraid that if he left, he would forget how she smelled, how her hair smelled of apples and sunlight, how she said good night, even when she could barely speak above a whisper. He didn't leave then, and he wouldn't leave now. Down by the truck's wheels, Maggie shifted her weight, the only horse he had left after everything was over. Not the youngest, not the prettiest. Scars along her sides from an old fence, a tail she constantly tangled in burrs, and a look Garrett hated more than anything, because Maggie looked at him as if she knew something he didn't. She looked at the house, then at the ridge, then back at the house, and she gave a low, quiet whinny. "I know," Garrett said. "I know, girl." He jumped down from the roof, his boots hit the ground, and in that same instant, something changed. The wind shifted. Now it blew from the north, bringing with it not just smoke, but sound. A dull, low rumble. Not fire. Something else. Garrett froze. Maggie pinned her ears back and stepped away. And then he saw it. There, where the old fence had collapsed the previous winter, where the pasture dipped into a low hollow overgrown with wild cherry, something moved. A shape. White, or almost white. Through the ash and the dim light, it was impossible to make out the exact color, but the form was unmistakable. A horse, alone. Slowly, unsteadily, it stepped out of the smoke like a ghost from an old legend. Garrett took a step forward. Maggie froze. The silence between two gusts of wind lasted only a second, but in that second he heard something that made his heart drop. Not a whinny, not a rasp, a cry. The horse was crying. He hadn't known that was possible. But the sound was clear, high, inhuman, the sound of a creature that had lost everything and could not understand why. The horse came closer. One step, another. Now the details were visible. Starved to near transparency, ribs jutting out like spokes, its mane hung in filthy clumps, tangled with twigs and scraps of hay. On its side, a dark patch, not its coat. Blood. Old, dried, mixed with dirt. But the worst part, the eyes. Eyes that stared straight at Garrett from 20 meters away. There was no fear in them, no pain. There was something else. Recognition. Garrett stepped back, not out of fear, because somewhere deep in his mind, in a place he hadn't touched in 4 years, a thought began to stir. Impossible. Insane. And yet no less real. The horse took another step, then another. Maggie suddenly let out a low, drawn-out whinny, not threatening, but almost surprised, as if she had seen an old friend she had buried many years ago. And that was when Garrett understood. He dropped to his knees, right into the ash, because his legs would no longer hold him. It was Kate. Kate, his wife's horse, the very one they had bought 3 months before Claire was diagnosed. Tall, white as snow, with eyes that seemed to look straight through you. Claire used to say that Kate was the only one who understood her without words. When it became hard for Claire to get out of bed, Kate would stand beneath the bedroom window for hours, unmoving, silent, just standing there and watching. And when Claire died, Garrett couldn't bear to look at the horse. Every glance at Kate felt like a knife in his chest. So, he sold her, a month after the funeral, to a man who promised a good home, pasture, and care. And a year later, Garrett found out that the man had sent Kate to the slaughterhouse. She was old, he had said flatly over the phone. You can't afford to keep a horse like that. That was the first time Garrett got drunk in 10 years, and he swore he would never again grow attached to a living creature. And now Kate stood before him, alive, starved, bloody, but alive. She stepped closer and pressed her muzzle into his palm. Dry, hot nose, coarse bristles, and the smell, not smoke, not blood. Something sweet, like summer grass that hadn't grown here in years. Garrett lifted his hand, ran it along her neck, and felt something that shouldn't have been there, beneath the skin, under the thin layer of dirt. Something hard, metallic. He pulled away the matted hair and saw a buckle, old, rusted, with engraved letters. CLAIRE. Claire. Claire herself had carved those letters into the buckle of an old bridle. Garrett had held that buckle in his hands when he buried his wife, and then he had placed it in the coffin. Or had he? He couldn't remember. That week was nothing but a blur. But now the buckle was here, on the horse, and that could mean only one thing. Someone had dug up the grave. Or Kate herself. No. Impossible. Garrett lifted his head and looked toward the ridge. The fire had already crested it and was descending into the valley. Red tongues licked at the sky, and the air had grown so hot it dried his throat. He could hear the crack of trees falling a kilometer away. He could hear the wind shifting again and again. He had no more than 20 minutes before the road leading to the highway would turn into a river of fire. He could jump into the truck, load Maggie into the trailer, and make it out in time. But Kate wouldn't fit. The trailer was built for one horse. Garrett looked at her. She looked back at him. And then, slowly, very slowly, she turned her head toward the house. There, on the porch, the lamp was still burning. The very one Garrett had replaced a month before Claire died. She had promised the lamp would burn every night so he would always find his way home. He had never turned it off. Even when he left for the city for a few days, he kept it lit. And now, in this hell, the lamp was burning, a solitary beacon in the middle of the apocalypse. Kate took a step toward the house, then another. Garrett sprang to his feet. "No!" he shouted. "There's nowhere to hide. The house is wood. It'll burn in 10 minutes. But Kate didn't listen. Or she listened and didn't understand. Or she understood and simply didn't care. She was walking toward the house, toward the place where her stall had once been, where she used to stand beneath the bedroom window when Claire could no longer rise from bed, softly whinnying as if to say, "I'm here. I'm waiting. You'll get better." Garrett would come out onto the porch then, wrap his arms around Kate's neck, and cry. Cry so hard he couldn't breathe. And Kate would stand still and endure it. Endure his tears, his weakness, his despair. Now she was walking back to that place again, and Garrett realized he wouldn't be able to stop her, wouldn't be able to leave her, wouldn't be able to betray her again. He ran, not to the truck, to the garage, a large concrete structure behind the house that he had turned into a storage space. It was cool inside, dark. There was nothing there to burn, only concrete, metal, and old furniture. Garrett threw the doors open. The smell of gasoline, dust, and old vachier rushed out. He grabbed a flashlight and switched it on. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing shelves of tools, a broken cultivator, sacks of cement, and an empty space in the middle, big enough for 2 horses. He stepped back outside. Kate had already reached the porch. She stood beneath the lamp, the light falling over her from above, turning her coat almost golden. Garrett approached her, took hold of the bridle, old, torn, barely holding together. Kate didn't resist. She looked at him, and in her eyes he saw something that made his blood run cold. Gratitude. But not from her. As if someone else, someone long gone, was looking at Garrett through those eyes and saying, "Thank you for not leaving." He led her toward the garage. Maggie, who had been standing frozen the whole time, suddenly broke into motion and ran after them, as if she had been waiting for this very moment. Garrett led Kate inside, then Maggie. He shut the doors, slid the bolt into place. The garage fell into darkness and silence. Only the breathing of the 2 horses and the distant roar of the fire outside. Garrett leaned his back against the cold concrete wall and slid down, sitting on the floor. The flashlight lay on the ground, its beam catching Kate's hooves, her trembling legs, her belly. And then he noticed what he hadn't seen before. Kate's belly wasn't just thin, it was large, too large for a starving horse, and it was moving. Slow, heavy waves beneath the skin. A foal. Kate was pregnant, near term. Garrett covered his face with his hands. He wanted to scream, or laugh, or cry, all at once. Kate had gone through hell, escaped the slaughterhouse, crossed hundreds of kilometers, survived the fire, just to come back here and to bring new life with her. On the very day the world around them was burning, something collapsed outside. Garrett jumped up. He cracked the door open and looked out. The house was burning. The porch, the steps, that same lamp, everything was engulfed in flames. Fire devoured the boards he had planed with his own hands, the windows he had chosen with Claire, the door behind which she had said, "I love you," for the last time. Everything was dissolving into smoke. Garrett watched it, and something inside him broke. Not his heart. It had broken long ago. Something else. The last thread that had kept him tied to this world. And then he heard a voice. Not outside. Inside. In his head. Or in his heart. Or from somewhere else. The place where dreams come from. Claire's voice. Quiet. Soft. Like a summer breeze. You promised you wouldn't leave the house, but a home isn't walls. A home is what's inside. You, me, her. Garrett turned around. Kate stood in the center of the garage, looking at him. In the flashlight's glow, her eyes seemed like liquid gold. She slowly lowered her head and touched his chest with her nose, right where his heart was. And Garrett understood what he had to do. He was not going to save the house. The house was already dead. He was going to save what was left. 2 horses and an unborn foal. And himself. For the first time in 4 years, he wanted to live, not exist, not endure. Live. He opened the gates. Heat hit his face like an open furnace. The fire was already 20 meters away. The road to the highway was cut off. Only one path remained, through the lowlands, along an old forest road that had not been used for 10 years. Garrett knew it. He knew it would lead to the river, and beyond the river, safety. 3 kilometers, only 3 kilometers through hell. He led Kate out, then Maggie. The horses were trembling, but they did not panic. They trusted him. Why? They shouldn't have. He didn't deserve it. But they trusted him anyway. Run, he said. Just run after me. Don't stop. Don't be afraid of anything. He ran, and they ran behind him. Kate, despite her belly, despite her wounds, despite everything. Maggie, ears pinned back, but refusing to fall behind. Garrett did not look back. He could hear their breathing behind him, the pounding of hooves on scorched earth, the crackle of fire to the left and right. The sky was black. Sparks fell like stars, only burning. The air tore into his lungs, but he kept running. And at some point, halfway through, when the road began to slope downward toward the river, he heard a sound that made him stumble. A cry, not a horse, not a human. Something in between. Kate stopped. She collapsed onto her front legs, shaking, groaning, and Garrett understood. The foal was coming. Here, in hell, 3 kilometers from safety. He did not think. He did not hesitate. He simply went back to her, dropped to his knees in ash and mud, placed his hands on her warm, trembling side. And he said what Claire had once said to him on the darkest night of all. You will make it. I'm with you. I'm not leaving. Kate looked at him, and there was no fear in her eyes. There was calm. The same calm Claire had in her final hour. The calm of a being that knows everything will be all right, even when everything is burning. Garrett lit the lantern, looked up at the sky. There, through smoke and ash, he saw 1 star. Small, trembling, but alive. And for the first time in 4 years, he smiled. Because somewhere in this hell, a new life was being born. And it would not know loss. It would know only one thing. The world may burn, but love does not burn. Never. Thank you for watching and spending this time with us. If this story touched your heart, please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful stories like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a story.